This episode of Angles is brought to you by Richmond Vona Personal Injury Attorneys. Expect high-level communication, transparency, and cutting-edge technology to keep your case moving. Expect a legal team that's laser-focused and moves fast to get the results you deserve. When the unexpected happens, expect Richmond Vona. Learn more at richmondvona.com. 192 Seneca Street, Buffalo, New York. Welcome to Angles, the podcast where we dig into the stories behind impactful people and explore the sharp turns, daily decisions, and defining moments that shape how they got to where they are and how they keep moving forward. I'm John Richmond, and every week I sit down with guests who are building bold, meaningful lives and careers in Buffalo and beyond. If you enjoy these conversations, please hit follow, subscribe, drop a comment, or share the episode. It's a simple way to help us grow with the community and keep these stories coming. What are you made of? That's the question at the heart of today's conversation. From pushing past physical limits to showing up for those who've served, this episode is about mental toughness, gratitude, and community. We'll talk with Al Longo and Keith Vona, two of the people behind Buffalo's Veterans Race, about why it's more than just a 5K or 10K. It's a celebration of service, perseverance, and purpose. Let's get into it. All right, what's up, guys? How's it going?
Good.
Hey, John.
How are you guys today?
Good. We made it work.
Somehow.
Nothing like technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties with some baby boomers, but we figured it out.
Thank you.
It's the equipment.
Yeah, it's the equipment. That's right.
It is.
What's up, guys? I'm obviously excited to talk to you guys. We really, I want to talk to you guys about the Veterans Race that's coming up on November 8th, and we're going to dive into that. And I thought that maybe it'd be a good way to sort of start off with, talking to Al, a little bit about kind of how this thing came to be, how you got involved, that kind of thing.
All right. Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks, John and Keith, for having me on here. I appreciate it. We're always trying something new with both of you over the years to keep this race and this event exciting. So as far as how it goes, we're now in year number I think the 14th running. So we started back in whatever 2025 minus 14, 2011, 2012, I think it was when we started. And
that works.
Yeah, it works, right? It's close enough. It really started with a conversation that I had with my neighbor. He knows I'm an avid runner, and he's like, is there any runs in the area for veterans? Man, no, I don't think there is. My wife's side of the family, all veterans, brother-in-laws, nephews, goes down the list, right? So a buddy and I were talking on the way to a race one day that there wasn't a veterans race in Buffalo. And he's like, well, let's do one. All right, let's just put it together. And in the car ride to our event, we scripted it all out, and we started started the veterans race. So that's it always falls around the early part of November, never on Veterans Day, because we like our veterans to get their free coffees and pancakes and stuff on that day. So we don't want to intrude on that weekend. But so we try to keep it early in November. But yeah, that's where it started. It started with looking at it from a civilian's perspective of saying, okay, well, they've done their part. They've served their time. So let's give back. Let's serve our time to them. So two civilian guys doing it for everyone else. That's where it started.
It's like a lot of great ideas that start on essentially like the back of a napkin, right?
Yeah, it was. If you've heard of like a Ragnar event or one of these Tough Mudders, that's what it was. It was a Tough Mudder event up in Toronto. We were driving up to. And we're just stuck in traffic, literally stuck in traffic. And we're like, well, what are we going to do while we're sitting here? Take out a sheet of paper and just start writing ideas down.
Yeah, and you obviously, you've been a big runner for a long time. So this is kind of probably, at least in terms of like the event type, kind of like a natural thing for you to kind of tackle first.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's thank you for saying that. Yeah, having run quite a bit, we thought this was something that was still within our realm that we can handle, with our experience.
Yeah, Al's being bashful. I've known Al since before the race started, and I've been involved with it ever since. We'll obviously dive into that, but Al is this phenomenal runner. He's done the Boston Marathon, which is extremely hard to qualify for. It's a huge accomplishment. He's just being humble.
Yeah, I was going to double down on that. Be like, you are being humble about that. I mean, because you're an insane runner.
Uh, hey, thank you guys. It's been a labor of love, I guess you could say. The first couple of years, it's all about experimenting and trying to find out like what works, and then you just get to points like, dude, just run. Like it's not that hard. Left foot, right foot, and then just buckle down and go. Be smart about it. Don't get hurt, but yeah, and then push yourself to limits, right? Like it's just, I, okay, let's get a little bit of a side tangent here. We think about our veterans and everything they've gone through, and being away from families. You think about like, it's just the hardships when they come back. Let's keep it veteran focused for now. And you're like, man, this is just a running thing. This is so natural, right? Just to run. Uh, it's not that hard, right? It's harder what these guys and gals are going through. Just keeping it focused on just the veteran and military community right now. But that yeah, anybody can run or walk or do something, which is kind of the great spirit of the veterans race, is that it's open for everyone. This is not a veteran only event. I'm a civilian, never served, right? I mean, I'm just doing my part. But that's the whole premise behind the idea, is that we're all doing our part. And in this case, much like St. Patrick's Day, we're all Irish for a day, right? Veterans
Yeah.
Day, we're all chipping in, and we're all just, we're all saluting the troops, right? We're going to rally the troops on one day, and anybody can walk, anybody can run, anybody can do whatever. You don't have to be phenomenal like me. I mean, you don't have to be as awesome as I am, as Keith says. Thank you, Keith. But anybody can do it. So
Yeah, and it's more fun to run towards something than away from something, right?
yeah, right. That's really good. Run to the finish line. Don't run away from it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
well
Uh,
done.
and Keith, I know, like, I mean, I think like probably long before I even met you, and we've known each other for a really long time now. You got involved, and maybe you could just kind of talk about like why it was important for you to get involved, and kind of like those early years at the veterans race.
Sure. As I mentioned already, I've known Al a long time. I think our friendship is before the race even started. We were in a triathlon club together, and to take a shot at his excellence, he's never beat me in a triathlon as fast as he is on his feet.
Are you sure about
He's
that?
not much of a swimmer or a biker.
Wait, are you sure about that? I also have not done an Ironman, right? So I've done a half Ironman. So Keith, you got me on
Yes,
that one too.
I got you there. But getting back to your question, John, it was when this thing popped up. My father-in-law, who you know, Pete, is a former Marine as well as I am, and it just was like another like great event to just go and be a part of. And the first year it was pretty small, but I didn't even really know the full mission statement until we actually got down there and I started talking to Al about it and how he put this all together. And I was like, yeah, I want to be a part of this. And I've been there every year since. And obviously, since you and I started, we've been there every year since too. And we are going to continue to do that. And it's just so important to give back to the veterans. I mean, these are people who sign a blank check with their life to protect our liberties and our freedoms. And it doesn't get any more serious than that. So anything we can do for people that have gone through some traumatic issues in their service or whatever it may be, we should step up to the plate and help them.
Yeah, well said. I mean, I think, it's, I'm not going to fault anybody for doing this because I do the same thing, but we walk around every day and I think we just kind of, kind of take
Take
for
it for
granted,
granted.
take for granted like everything that we have. And, that's the thing about traveling, right? When you travel to certain places that don't have the same liberties that we do, it's pretty eye opening and, can give you kind of like a new perspective when you come back. And it doesn't take much at all. Like Al, you were saying, I mean, look at me, like I'm not a runner, but you can come, you can volunteer, you can walk. We've seen people who sadly aren't able to walk, but they're, being pushed in wheelchairs or doing anything they can, just to show up. And it's really not about like how fast you do it. It's just about the act of doing it and showing our veterans that we appreciate them.
Yeah, it's a bit of a parade in a sense, right? It's you're out there, and it's a celebration, right? It doesn't have to be a somber moment, but it's a celebratory moment where you're just you're there having a good time because we can. right? We can't, because the guys put in the effort, the guys and the gals put in the effort to keep us this way and to keep us free and to keep us safe, all right? And we should celebrate that. Yeah, hey, thank you. Thank you very much for doing that. Uh, let's go out there and salute the troops, right? So,
Yeah, I mean, and also like, I mean, going back to when you started this thing. So again, you have this idea, you have a, you know, like this long history of running. You run to this day, but I'm guessing this was the first time you put on a race yourself. And you know, you're a really smart guy. You're an engineer at Moog, but I'm guessing this was like kind of a whole new thing to tackle. Like, what did it look like early on, and what maybe were some of like the challenges?
yeah, early on, well, first year was great. It was like 75 degrees and sunny. Like like, hey, God's on our side. Gave us great weather on the first day, but like just laying out the right course, learning where, how people are going to run, and funding has always been an issue. We'll touch on that a little bit later, but um, the first day challenge was having 225 people that were not pre-registered show up on race day. So we're delaying the start of the race by 10 minutes, and it was like, well, we don't want to turn anybody away, but we had 225 people showing up at the doorstep of a race, and we're hitting 400 or 75 that day, right? Like, and the race has always been around 450 to 500 people until the last couple of years, and now it's breaking 800, right? So, um, but that was a challenge the first year, and then it was also about, how much do you want to take on? Like we had a concept early on about, walk a mile in their boots. Do we want to do like a boot challenge? Are you running military boots? Like, do we do a ruck challenge where you have to carry a 50-pound ruck, right? Like, and it's like, well, wait a minute, let's, sometimes a simple solution is the best solution, right? Keep it simple, execute a good race, keep everybody safe, and you'll have a good event. If you try to do too much, now you got all these loose ends and it doesn't look clean. So we're trying to keep it simple and clean and respectful.
If you open up a ruck challenge this year, but the only person that has to do it is Keith with a 50-pound bag, I think the firm might be willing to step up its contributions this year.
You know, can I say, you can edit this part out, but I think he's already carrying the 50-pound bag. That.
Zing!
Oh,
We're not editing that. That's
you
not
threw
getting
the first
edited.
one.
Like, we're not trying to make Brett's job any harder than it is. We're not editing
You threw the
this.
first one, Keith.
Thank you, Al.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
that.
And Keith will blame that on me. So and on running the firm, but because I know Keith, like you, I remember when we started the firm in like late 2019, so our like December. So our first year, getting involved in sponsoring the race was 2020. And I remember I think you had the trophy, like you had won it the year before, right?
I did. I can't remember what year it was. I think it was maybe 2018. Yeah.
We're talking about
I did. I did win the 10K for the veterans. I'm on the trophy. That's
you're
true.
on it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on
Not
it.
anymore. They ain't gonna win this year.
You never know, Keith. There's time.
Yeah. Well, look, Keith, I mean, like, I don't want to like, make this all about us and Richmond Vona, but I know we've talked about this, and I know it's important for you and special for you for us to be the presenting sponsor, and I know how humbling it is for me, and I can only imagine for you to have like basically every member of our firm show up to volunteer. We're fortunate enough to be able to give money to the race. What does it mean for you, especially being a Marine?
I mean, again, just to reiterate what I said earlier, it's just like Al said, it's a thank you. It's a big thank you. Yeah, I served, but I was fortunate enough to not be in any conflict or any real danger when I was in, other than for my drill instructors on Paris Island. Um, but after that, it was pretty smooth sailing for me. I had a great time in the Marines, great experiences, friendships, etc. But it's the fact of the matter is when you do sign up for this, you are signing up to put yourself in harm's way. And a lot of our veterans, like Al's mentioning, you see people in wheelchairs and things. A lot of our veterans have come back home different and not in a positive way. And I think it's just a great way to show support, not just financially, but emotionally, that you're all out there with them, cheering them on, thanking them. thanking them. Anytime I see a veteran or, they're wearing a hat, I go right up to them and I say, thank you for your service. Again, like you mentioned, John, we take it for granted sometimes, and it's easy to do that because we live under that blanket of protection. But it's that important to me that I think we need to give back to that community. I don't think it's served enough.
Yeah, I agree. And it's I remember like a year or two ago we were talking about the race, and I was like blown away by the fact that there is no like formal government sponsored or government program to help veterans, let's say, like get back on their feet when they're here, like to assimilate back into society, um, help them, because like think about this, you got 18-year-old kids going over there, didn't go to college, maybe have never had to like really apply for a job, like maybe a more serious job before. There's a lot of things they need help with when they get back. And um, I know, I mean, Keith, what do you think, based on all your friends that are veterans and the guys you serve with, what do you think are the biggest challenges for people when they come back?
Again, it depends on their experiences. I think most people, if they've not experienced combat or trauma in their service, they can acclimate fairly easily back in. I know I did. It's a little bit of a transition going from simple things like military time versus standard time. It's things like that. But again, people who have been through some experiences and seen some things that um, they don't necessarily want to remember. That's a challenge. I think that's what it's, I think, about. You got to make sure we're taking care of those people. Most of the people, when you get out, you're fine. I didn't need much of a transition. Again, I had no trauma in my service. So I think it's supporting the people that need that kind of help. And if again, emotionally, monetarily, whatever we can do
So Keith, I
to
mean,
rise them up.
Keith, to expand on that, I volunteered here at Moog under our Moog's Veterans organization. So I'm the event chair for that resource group. And one of the things we talk about is that it's not always veteran centric; it's veteran family centric, right? So yeah, we're here to support the veterans in their transition, helping them kind of when they write that resume, help not the veterans race, but we get them to the resources that do this. But that resume with military terms, how does that translate to the civilian world? So that these things you've done in the military, that's a project manager, right? Those are the same type of words. So we help them with that. But there's also like, what do the families go through, right? So we're starting to look at that from a family's perspective. Uh, I'm dealing with a veteran that may have issues. What do I do from a family sense? So maybe my veteran is disabled. What do I do? Maybe I've lost one. Maybe mine is deployed. What do I do as a family while he's away or she's away? What resources are available to me to navigate life with my veteran being deployed or what have you? And so one of the things from the veterans race perspective is partnering with local groups that provide services like that so that we can direct them to those areas. We're not always, I don't proclaim to be an expert or to have all the answers, but we know people in the area that do have those answers. So we want to partner with those groups and get those resources available to people.
Yeah, and it's so important to partner with the right group, right? And I know, this year, well, for the last however many years that we've been involved, I know the Buffalo Naval and Military Park is one of the beneficiaries of the proceeds from the race. And then obviously, or I shouldn't say obviously, now this year it's WNY Heroes. Al, can you kind of talk about how important it is to be aligned with the right organizations and kind of just talk about how, aside from showing up and giving support for the veterans, how there actually is money being raised for, say, a group like WNY Heroes in the Buffalo Naval Military Park?
Yeah, it's been great taking the time to meet these organizations and partnering with them. So, for the military park, it's an iconic area of the city of Buffalo. If you haven't been there, you should check it out. The museum is amazing. The ships we're preserving them. The race runs on three uh, pillars, right? It's preserve, protect, and honor. The preservation part is preserving that legacy of our veterans, right? So we look at, seeing those ships and its beautiful museum and those monuments down on the water to honor the legacy that they've done. So the naval park needs our help. Those ships are showing their age. They're supposed to go into dry dock and we're just one part of that preservation effort. And they're painting them this week actually. So there's always efforts and things around preserving the history here because it's important to learn. History teaches us a lot of valuable lessons. And then with other groups like Western New York Heroes, they're probably the biggest Western New York veteran organization, or most, I guess, I don't want to say public, but people know them very well. They're almost like a household name. But they also have they've got connections to all these different groups, whether you need a service dog, or whether you need financial or medical assistance, whether you need housing assistance. And they have resources at their facility, and they've been at this for about a decade or maybe a little bit longer now. And they have a vast network, a vast membership, and they've been instrumental in the Western New York area of getting those resources to our veterans and their families.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to talk to some people from WNY Heroes, and there's a lot of services, and I would encourage like any veteran to check it out, or a family member of a veteran. But yeah, I like what you said too about Buffalo Naval Military Park. I think there's some people out there, like especially lately in the news, where you see like, is it the Sullivans that was sinking? Is that the
Yes.
one, right?
Yeah.
And I know some younger people are like, who cares? But
I've heard that too.
I think you got to remind yourself, like, if you go down there and you look at these things, I mean, and just picture the idea or the fact that there were real human beings like serving on these ships, like in wartime era, and imagine what they'd been going through, and it kind of can like take you back a little bit and make you appreciate it even more, right? I think it's important to see these things and to not forget, like you said, to preserve the history. So it's great that you kind of like you have like both components. You have like preserving the history, and then of course like helping people who need it now, right? And helping them when they get back.
You want a side note on the Sullivans on the boat?
Yeah.
That boat is named because of, I think it was 4 brothers
Correct.
died on the same ship when it got sunk in World War II, and that's what Private Ryan was based on.
No
The
kidding.
movie. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's a good little nugget. I never knew that. But yeah, if you go down there, I mean, the people that work there are amazing too, and like the tours they do, and like all the information that they'll share is pretty awesome. So, I mean, Al, when you think about like how this race has developed, I'm sure you've been present for some pretty like heartfelt, like amazing moments, like seeing everybody show up. Is there like a moment that stands out the most to you?
During the event, you mean, or just say even throughout the year of planning it? What are you thinking?
I mean, let's start off with like the event, because like it's pretty powerful. I mean, there's a lot of people there, like that show up, not just the runners, like their families, supporters, just people who want to just be outside in November. Like, what do you think are like maybe some of the most powerful moments?
Yeah, I think one of the ones I recall was, I went and bought this. Maybe this is kind of silly, but I bought these construction paper stars, and I said to folks, like, these are free. I just want you to put, you can write them to in honor of, or for someone, or yourself, or whatever. And I thought I was going to get a dozen stars to put up on the windows of the military park housing that they have there. And then we ended up filling the whole thing with about, I think it was like 85 or 87 stars, people just writing notes, right? And you start seeing that and you're like, wow, this is starting to hit home. And you start reading some of the notes that were left on these stars that people were signing off, and for my grandfather, for my brother, and then it was like for my other brother and this brother and that brother. And it just started, like, this window became full of just tributes. And that just makes you realize it's not about us, right? And that veterans are everywhere, right? So it's a walk of life. I don't know, is that right? But it's they're all around us. A veteran is not going to always wear a uniform walking down the street somewhere, right? They're working alongside you, and some of them don't even want to be, like, it's just, hey man, I just did my job, like I just did my part. But we're like, okay, great. But I just want to say thank you, right?
Yeah.
So that was, I don't want to say it was the most powerful moment, but that was an interesting moment to see, like, how many more people, just how we're affecting them, and how, like, just reading the notes of, like, well, this is for my grandfather or for whoever, and seeing that it's like, wow, this is crossing generations. This is pretty amazing.
Yeah, people get up, they show up, they really participate. I mean, Keith, I mean, from somebody like yourself who's like born and raised here, you're born and raised in the city. What do you think about, especially like the growing presence at the race year over year? What do you think it says about like the Buffalo community at large?
I mean, you know, the Buffalo, I mean, I've lived here my whole life, as you know, and Buffalo has always been a rally type city. I mean, obviously the Bills more than ever right now. But they're good people in Buffalo. Most of the people live here are great people, blue collar, hardworking people, and they respect. I think they respect people who serve, and I think it's a testament. I mean, because look at when you serve in the military, it's a lot like unless you're an officer, it's a lot like blue collar work, and I just think it resonates with the citizens here, and that you know you roll up your sleeves, you go and do your job, you don't complain about it, and you know, and everybody rallies around you at the end of the day when needed, I guess.
Yeah. And you know, it's like it's pretty cool too because like you guys were mentioning, like you're out there and obviously there's a lot of people like we talked about who are running for a family member or a friend who served or who is serving. But this thing, I think you guys would agree, is really fueled by the Buffalo running community, which I did not understand. I didn't understand how strong that was. Al, can you kind of talk about, you know, the Buffalo running community and kind of what makes it unique here?
Yeah, well, you know, runners in Buffalo run for purpose, with purpose. It's one of the things that makes running a unique sport, right? That everything, whether it's you're running for veterans or you're running for a local church or hospice or something, runners like to know that what they're doing is giving back to the community. It's got a purpose to it. If you look at our demographic for the race, it's 75% civilian and 25% veteran. Maybe it's a little higher, maybe it's 30%. But it is primarily, you know, civilian people coming out. And there are some regulars. There are some regular runners that come out every year, and they've been doing this for the last 14 years, and they've come to every race, and they bring their posse of people, right? And that whole run club comes out or what have you. Uh, but it's now emerging into other running. Running is going through a boom right now. It's going through this next boom where we're getting these 24 to 34-year-old people. It's the next big boom of running. And we started to see that last year. We're starting to see that the numbers, which are typically nationwide in the 45s to 60 years old age bracket, as being your big running community, we're actually starting to see this movement of 24 to 34. And that's great because we got this local community of runners and we're seeing these young people and we have this chance to engage them, bring them into the community and let them feel like they're contributing now, right? Um, so that's a really good thing to see. It's good to see that we're bringing in the youth. It's good to see that they're living a life with purpose and that they're, you know, runners, they need two reasons. They need to run with purpose and they need beer at the end. It's really the two things come to do, right? And we got them
And
both. We got both.
the veterans race has both, and we're going to talk about the awesome party that's going to be going on afterwards at other half. Um, but you mentioned something, Al. I mean, you know, runners, you run for a purpose, and everybody has their own purpose. But there's a lot of people out there who are like, you see somebody like running, you know, down the sidewalk or in the street, and maybe it's a person you see running all the time. And most of us are probably like, man, this person's crazy. Like, I hate running. Like, what is it? What is running to you? Like, why do you run? And why have you spent so much time and energy being such an accomplished runner? We'll be right back after a word from our partners.
After an accident, life can be scary, stressful, tricky. You need Richmond Vona to help navigate the process because getting a life-changing settlement can not only take time, it can take an emotional toll. The team at Richmond Vona provides high levels of support through all the ins and outs, so you get the settlement you need and the new beginning you deserve.
When the unexpected happens.
Expect Richmond Vona.
Now back to the conversation.
I hate running. It's like,
Really?
yeah, well, it's different. But it's about purpose for me. It's always about why am I going out to run? I love racing. It's a little bit different, right? But it's really about the purpose. Some people run because sense of community. It's their outlet. It's their tribe, right? They need to be around people to help them get through things, right? Other people like the competition side or pushing themselves to limits. And other people they want to do it. They have to do it for health reasons, right? Like I need just to be healthier and you need to lose those 5 pounds or 10 pounds, right? Whatever it might be. So everybody's got a purpose. It's a very individualized sport. And the unique part about it is it's also not individualized, right? You might do the training by yourself, but your impact is community wide, which is an interesting dichotomy of this which is, hey, I'm doing something by myself, but I'm also what I do impacts others. It's unique to any other sports, right?
Yeah. Keith, I mean, you know, I know I know what he's gonna say. He's gonna say that I don't allow him to do this anymore. But Keith, before we started the firm, you ran a lot of triathlons, Ironman. You know, obviously, an insane amount of preparation goes into that, and it's very, very, very difficult. It's not just a physical challenge; it's a massive mental challenge. Like, what was it for you? Like, why did you do all those? Even if you probably went into Ironman knowing like you're not going to win them because you're going against like pros. Like, what was it for you? Like, what was your purpose behind it?
I mean, it was an outlet for energy. Basically, I boil it down to this. It's what are you made of, right? I always tell people when I was out there, it doesn't matter if it's an Ironman or a sprint or a 5K or a 10K. There comes a point, and Al will probably agree with me, there comes a point where you're in the red and you just like, you don't think about your bills. You don't think about work. You don't think about anything. You got two things on your mind. Do I slow down or do I keep going or stop? You know what I'm saying? Do you keep going or do you stop? And I love getting to that point because that's where you find out who you really are. Are you a quitter? No, I've never quit anything in my life and I never will. So that's what drew it to me. I think Al would agree. When you talk about triathlon, there's a lot of data. There's a lot of engineers, doctors. They all like this stuff because there's metrics and data. You would love it too, honestly, if you wanted to run. But there's so much in it, and it's a great community. They're all like-minded people, and I've had a great experience over the years. And pretty soon I'm gonna start getting back into it. That's a promise.
You
Good.
said
And
myself.
you heard to hear it.
last 5 years.
That's right. Got to hold myself accountable.
Well, look, I mean, I think it's like, okay, I also think about it like this, right? So you've run so many marathons and some of the biggest marathons in the world. I have to imagine that in every single one, and if I'm wrong, tell me, but like there's a point where like you're never going to stop. You're never going to let yourself fail, but like it crosses your mind. Like this is really, really hard. I could just stop right now. What actually is it that keeps you moving forward? Is it like you don't want to let yourself down, you want to let your family down? Like, what is it? Because I think it's a good lesson for anybody in life where it's like when it gets really, 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 really hard and where most people just say, forget it, I'm not going any further. Like, what is it that pushes you forward?
But it's not that hard, right? It's just running. And that's the reality. It's just running. It's literally probably one of the most natural things you could do, right? By the time you started learning how to walk, you started running, right? And it literally is that. And if you put that up against the person that's fighting cancer, the person that lost their job, the person that is trying to make the bills, pay the bills and make the ends meet, it's just running. All right. Like just get out there and do it. So when I get into those zones, and there's been many races where I looked at that, I'm just like, I'm done. This is not DNF, right? I'm not going to finish this one. You're like, well, wait a minute. On a marathon, it's a little different. It's like, I can't just get up next Saturday and do this again. Like that takes a lot of effort to do that. So I put down the money. I'm already halfway out on this course. Just finish the darn thing, right? Like just get out there and finish it. Like even if it's ugly, finish it because I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. So let's go do this. So it's ugly, great, whatever. It just makes a great story, right? It makes a great story, but you just get through it, right? It's just running.
Yeah, Keith, what is it for you? Like what, when it's like, oh man, why did I do this? Like what keeps you pushing forward?
It's similar to what Al said, but essentially it is. It's like, what am I made of? Am I gonna, I've never not finished a race that I started, whether it was an Ironman or a 5K. I've always finished a race. Sometimes, like Al said, it gets ugly out there, and but it's it's pushing your limits, physically and mentally, and it is both at that point in time when you're in that hurt locker. They're both there. And I think it's probably comes from, being a Marine, and they teach you to not ever quit anything. So it's just another way, and I miss it. That's why I'm saying, and I'm promising I got to get back to it. I miss that challenge. I miss that physical and mental challenge. And I can't wait to get back into it again.
Yeah, I think it's like, it's it's a small example of kind of like how you can reapproach kind of like your own, I guess, like your mental toughness or you think about the human psyche, and it's like, most people want to do more than what they're currently doing. They want to challenge themselves, but they have like kind of that roadblock. I think some of it is just like, a lot of it's just not believing in yourself, or thinking, I can't do it the way this person did or the way these people do it. And I think that's the one thing, right, that I've learned from maybe like having the opportunity to talk to really successful people in any field, is most of these people are people who just were like, screw it, I'm going to do it. Whether they were forced into doing it, or they just said, woke up one day and said, I'm sick of the status quo, I'm doing it. And then once you kind of like, let's say, like put yourself in that corner, you realize what you're made out of, and you realize you can accomplish like really anything you put your mind to. And I think that's kind of what you're saying, Al.
Yeah, yeah. And that's, the veterans race in and of itself is just a small opportunity for that, right? It's a 5K and a 10K. Maybe for some people, it's pushing the limits from a 5K to a 10K. Great. But it is about seeing what you're made of. It's about, testing yourself a little bit differently and pushing through that. And the nice thing is, in these race moments, usually there's somebody alongside you somewhere that can help you through it too. So it's never.
Yeah, and there's I mean, it's great advice from both of you, because I think anybody who's listening can think about this. And like you said, it's a small thing, but like you take one step at a time. It's like one foot in front of the other. It's like, don't look at out like the vast sea in front of you. Just keep your head down, and one step at a time, one little accomplishment at a time. Then they can get bigger and bigger. And I think, there's a lot of opportunities to do that in Buffalo, say like with racing. I know, Al, you just took on a huge role recently with the Buffalo Marathon, and, there's the turkey trot, and now we have the veterans race. What would you Al, what do you think makes a veterans race different? And what would you say to somebody who's like, I don't know if I want to do another one. I'm doing the turkey trot. Maybe I did the marathon or did some other races. Why do you think this is different, and why should somebody sign up and come out?
Yeah. Good question. What makes it different? Well, it's large, right? So it's some races, you might feel like you're out there on your own, and you're like, it might be a smaller race. All races are great, by the way. You should do them all. But some people they're just afraid. Maybe they're not the fastest, and they're like, I don't want to be back of the pack and by myself. But you're not going to be by yourself. There's 800 to 1,000 people now, right? They come on out. There's a lot of people, and we get a good amount of spectators as well. We get a lot of people out there cheering. A lot of people have their American flags. We're starting to add DJs and the Richmond Vona cheer alley that we have, right? And we're starting to add these things so that, again, brings that community spirit in, right? This is running on pavement's kind of boring, right? But we're going to make it an event. We're making this a celebration of everyone, including the runner that might not be a veteran. But hey, we're celebrating you, runner, for coming out here, for you celebrating veterans. Great. So, we're again adding DJs, adding little cheer stations, adding some pomp and circumstance to this, because it should be a fun moment, and we're going to distract you a little bit by having a little bit of fun, right? So that you can get through those 3 to 6 miles, whatever distance you pick.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that come out who don't know anybody in the race. They're not racing, they're not running, they're not walking, but they've caught on to it. They come out, they celebrate. And like you said, we're working behind the scenes to take this thing to the next level every year. And we're going to make this thing into a party. Let's be real. And there's nothing wrong with this. Buffalo likes to have a good time. And, there's not a lot of other stuff going on in early November, Saturday, November 8th. I mean, why wouldn't you want to come out to a party? And I know, in the past, we've done it certain places, but now we're bringing the party, we're stepping it up to other half brewing right there in Seneca One. Al, what are you excited about now that it's going to be in Seneca One? Immediately following the race.
Yeah, let's grow it. Like we basically maxed out, and we're blessed by that, right? But we maxed out our last venue. Again, the number is 22% growth last year, which is amazing. Up over 800 people. We got a kids race that was about another 50 kids. Last year was our biggest kids race that we had. So the numbers keep growing. The interest is growing. People want to be part of this event, and other half just gives us the space to do it. And we approach them, and they're just like, we're all in. Let's do it, but let's just not stop there. Let's just open it up to the public. Like, let's have everybody come out, whether what we're working on right now, to give a little insight there, is that it doesn't even have to be the day of the race. They're going to look to do beer specials and things leading up into the race, where maybe you're there for lunch or maybe they're for dinner, and you can contribute and still kick in or chip in to the race. And that, oh, by the way, supports Western York Heroes and the Naval Park. And then after the race is done, you don't have to go home. We're going to continue the party as well. So when you come down to the event, know that it's not just running. This is going to be an event. We're going to have activities at the post race. We're going to have music. We're going to have food, and we do the kegs and eggs. It's a unique thing here, and at our race, where you finish the race and you're going to get some breakfast, not just a bagel and yogurt. You're going to get breakfast. So we make it a unique event in that regards as well.
Yeah, Keith, it's there's a lot of people that show up, that come support people from our firm. How would you describe maybe the post-race atmosphere? I know we've had some fun.
I mean, it's a party. There's no way around it. It's a celebration of, honoring the veterans but having a good time. Drink some beer, have some laughs. I mean, like Al said, some people take the racing very seriously, and that's cool. It's okay. But I think the vast majority of people that show up to the veterans race are just there to be supportive and have a good time. And it just keeps growing. So we must be doing something right.
Yeah, and Keith, you got me thinking about something here. There was a really good conversation we had here. I even had it with my family as well. And not to take this down a serious tone, but there's this perception right now in society that veterans are I'm not going to support them. I'm not going to support my military. I'm not going to support my veterans because the culture climate that we're in right now, right? And then I'm calling time out on that. Like, wait a minute. Like, we're all human. We're all brothers and sisters. Well, they sign, Keith, I think you said it, right? They signed a blank check to go do this without any left or right or whatever you want to call it. So it's our job just to say thank you. Like, thank you for doing that. You didn't want to be part of this climate, right? You're just there to do your duty. And for the young people that are listening and watching, and I know it's an emotional part of society right now. Hey, if I'm just speaking to you directly, you can just stop and say thank you. Like, yeah, I know it's a crazy time that we're living in, but just go out there and have fun and celebrate it, and just be grateful. Have a little bit of gratitude, just for a minute. Have a little bit of gratitude, and don't take it so seriously, right? Like, just time out, man. Just go celebrate. Give a little gratitude, a little bit of thanks, and that's all we're asking.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great message. It's like, hey, come on out, and I would even encourage you, obviously take your photos and videos, and obviously tag the race all over social media, but then put them away and just enjoy being around people in the community, right? We're then heading into the winter, and there's not as many opportunities to be outside and celebrate together and have a good time. So, even if you're like a lot of people, unhappy with the current climate or the current state of things in the world, it's a time to kind of put that all aside and say, hey, we're here celebrating our Buffalo community, this community that we all love, that's so special. Let's just kind of block everything all out, for, half a day, and let's have a good time.
Yeah. And sorry for being Debbie Downer here.
No, you don't say sorry. And, look, I mean, it is important to have those conversations, but at the same time too, right? Like we're talking, it's a really good time. There's like some great commemoration, and there's some good speeches. There's a lot of awards that are given out. We have some other special stuff that's going to be given out. We're going to have music. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a party. Everyone loves Other Half Brewing. There's no question about that. If you're a beer drinker, just use that as an excuse if you want. And I bet when you show up, you're going to realize, oh man, I'm glad I'm here. And there's even just in the years that I've been there, there's been some fun, lighthearted moments. Like there's actually one really funny moment that I think of. But Al, is there, at least in my head, is there like a moment that you think of since you've been running the race where you were just kind of scratching your head or laughing or maybe something funny?
Uh, Funny moment. Minus the time when Keith was running. Just the one thing that we do that's a little uniquely different is I give out turkeys for the top winners, right? And we actually give out the frozen turkey, like they finish it. And I had a kid, because we give out to the youth as well. It's a 14-year-old kid. He's just like, Mom, I want a turkey. Like he holds up this 20-pound turkey, and he's got the pumpkin pie. And basically, what the reason why I did that is we're close to Thanksgiving. You're earning your meal for your family. Like that's a great way to provide and give somebody a Thanksgiving Day basket, right? But it's just funny to see people, and it was sitting at the bar. The turkey's sitting at the bar, and it's got a beer next to it. Like there's a frozen turkey in this bar. Like why? Well, it's uniquely different, guys. We're gonna have fun with it, right? Like we're not gonna give you a chintzy little plastic trophy, right?
Yeah. Keith, do you have any moments that are maybe funny or humorous that stand out either
Oh,
maybe at the race or like maybe anything
yeah.
hilarious you've seen during running?
I don't know. I wonder if Al will remember this one. This was when it was on the old course when we were at Templeton.
Uh-huh.
I think the kid, remember the young kid
No
who was,
names. No names.
no, I'm not going to mention any name. The young kid, I think he was like almost Olympic level on
Yeah.
the 5K.
Yeah.
I was pretty fast, and I'm running down the course, and all of a sudden I see feces on the ground.
Yeah. We had
he
that.
had he had lost bodily control. He was running
We
so
had that.
fast.
We had that. Yeah.
Dude, that kid, okay. I'm not even knocking that kid. Like hats off to that kid because that's the first thing that comes to mind. I remember I was working on the race course. This is the first year we sponsored the race. Um, and we were not the presenting sponsor yet, like we are now. And they start running, and like then they'll come back past you. This kid came back so fast that I had to like double check my watch like multiple times because I was like, there's no way that kid went all the way down and back.
Oh
And
yeah.
then I was like, oh, wait a minute. That's a kid who was like had like a trainer in the corner. And yes, that kid was running so extremely fast that he lost control of his
Yeah.
bowels.
And
Yeah.
he still finished. He
Oh,
didn't slow down at
he
all.
crushed everybody. Like he didn't
Yes,
he didn't miss a beat.
I think
yes.
it was 14:45, or maybe I think he might have ran a little bit slower that day just for fun. Just so it was like 15:20 as a practice run, right? Like, it's like some ridiculous amount like that.
Ridiculous.
Uh,
Yeah. So
John, do you have any other moments that you remember from these years past?
uh I mean, I'll say like this. I mean, that's like the funny moment that I remember. Um, I think for me, it's just been really cool to see how much it's grown. And I'm not just saying that. Obviously, I know, you know, Keith and I take tremendous pride in being the presenting sponsor and, increase or kind of like taking it to new levels every year, whether it's, people out there helping or money raised or, anything we can do to make sure more and more and more money every year goes towards the organizations that need it is really, really impressive. I just think, I mean, I sit back and like sometimes Al, I'm like, okay, we have an engineer from Moog who had never done this before. Obviously, he's a very smart guy, and I'm talking about Al.
Mm,
Um,
thanks.
and
I'm
I
not
just
an
think
engineer.
I just think it's like a really good kind of example of like, hey, if you're passionate about something, like let's say it's running, and you're passionate about a cause. So, like we say, you're saying in running, there's a purpose or a cause that you're running for, or whatever it is in life. If you want to do something, just because you've never done it before, just because you've never put on a race before, it doesn't mean you can't do it. And it doesn't mean that in year one, you have to think about it as like, oh, I got to have, 2,000 people here. It's like, hey, start small and build it. And I think it's incredible what you've been able to do. And I guess, I don't know, what would your advice be to somebody who is like, I had this idea and I want to help this cause, or, really grow something I'm passionate about, but I just don't have the experience doing it. Like, what would you say to somebody like that?
Yeah, I mean, I go through times where I want to, yeah, how do I get started on things? How do I get started? I think you just have to get started. Just start somewhere. Start kicking things around. Build a network of people that you can kick this idea around, and don't be afraid to lean on others with experience, right? That's valuable, but keep it simple as well. You don't have to have, you could have a 10-year plan. Great. But 10 years doesn't have to be today. You can start small and start building from there. Keep it simple, get started. And you got to have, if the guy that started the race with me, we started out with passion and purpose behind this. Got to a point where it just wasn't fitting in his passion and purpose. He was going in a different direction in life, and great. And I totally support him with that. And I think you have to keep that in mind. Like, what you do, you should be passionate about. It should be purposeful to you. And if you do those things, it'll never feel like work, right? And that's what you want to do, because it's got to be big. And at least for running this race, for me, the race is bigger than me. This is not about me. It's not about. It's a passion for me to give back to the community. And if it's that, then there's pleasure in the pain, right? There's pleasure in the struggle, getting it through and getting it done. But it's got to be purposeful, right? So for me, it's those two things. Keep it purposeful, have passion behind it. You'll get through it together. Build that tribe around you. Don't have this 10-year plan that you're trying to do on day one. Just keep it simple and move forward. Move forward and get started.
Yeah. Yeah, I think passion's like the key to most things, right? Whether it's you want to start a business, you want to start a charity, put on an event. If you're truly passionate about it and your heart and your mind are in the right place, like you said perfectly, the challenges, the failures that you learn from, everything about it is fun. You're like, this is fun. This is, I want to be doing this. I want to figure this out. Because if you don't have that passion, that's where you're going to stop. Like if you're purely money motivated or whatever it is, I mean, it's not going to work. Like it's because when you get those ceilings, you're not gonna have the energy or the passion to break through them. So that's really good advice. So, you've been doing this for so many years now, and we're coming up on November 8th. We're going to be running this thing again. Al, what's your hope for the future of the veterans race? Like, where do you want to see this go to? Maybe, let's say, like in the next 5 years.
Yeah, I've always had this answer ready, and the answer is to have the legacy be carried on by somebody else or some other group. That it's not just a one-man show. And it's the last 2 years, it's not so much a one-man show anymore. It's starting to grow, and other people are starting to join in. And that's where I see it in 5 years from now, is that it now becomes the thing to do on the calendar. It becomes a community event. It becomes bigger than just a race. The race is just one part of everything. There are going to be other events that go along to it, but it's not. Again, it's not about me. It never will be about me. I want it to be something that everybody can feel like they're part of. And in 5 years from now, I'd love to see that we have a team of 30 people that are all taking an aspect of this race and just growing it. And the Buffalo community comes out and sponsors the race. Businesses are being pulled in. We get, I don't know, maybe in 5 years from now, there's a corporate challenge part of it, right? Like, you get business out here with their local veteran organizations. I don't know, but yeah, I think the goal here is there is no limit, right, to what we can do. Let's just keep going, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I know we're on board to help you do that any way we can. And
Thank you.
I know we're going to get there for sure, especially
I'd like to see this thing be the number 2 race behind the Turkey Trot.
Right.
That's where I'd like to see it go.
Yeah.
But it's the thing to do. It's because the Turkey Trot is the thing to do. Isn't that like 30,000 people? Like, I mean, not saying we'll ever get that big, but you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Al, if somebody's listening, or they see us talking about this, promoting this on social media, give them the details. Where can they go to sign up? What do they need to know? That type of thing.
Great question. So quite simply, just look up Veterans Race Buffalo. You can go to destinationraces.com is where we host it through. That's our hosting agent event group. So destinationraces.net, destinationraces.net. But if you just go on Facebook and you do Veterans Race Buffalo, you'll find it there. And you'll have a 5K and a 10K and a kids race available for you. The kids run just a short course, about a couple hundred yards. But you don't have to run. Even though it's called Veterans Race, you don't have to run. You can walk, right? So there's a 2-mile walk option, so you can do that as well. And if you don't even want to do either one of those options, you can just attend the post-race party and just be at the post-race party. And all those options are available online. We do have separate categories for veterans and for civilians. Veterans will always pay a lower rate. It's one of our things that we do for them. And then some of the fun stuff is that, the top veterans and in each race, male, female, to get their name on the trophy like Keith did, and in the 5K and the 10K trophy. So we have that. But it's just a great event. Please check us out on Facebook, Veterans Race Buffalo, or if you go to destinationraces.net, you'll link right through everything to the registration page there. And then if you need to reach me for any reason at all, and you have a question about the race, you can just type in veteransracebuffalo@gmail.com, and you can reach me there. And yeah.
Awesome. And Al's personal cell phone number no, I'm just kidding.
Find me on LinkedIn. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Well, guys, this has been awesome. I appreciate you taking the time. What's the question?
All right. We always do this in our veterans group here at Moog. So Keith, this one's for you. Favorite MRE?
Oh,
what does that mean?
Well, John's never had one. We got to bring down an MRE.
Yeah, MRE, meal ready to eat. It's like the stuff that lasts for like 30 years.
Yeah.
I know they've changed since I've been in, because my son is in the Corps now, and they've changed the MREs. But my favorite one was the beef stew. They had a nice little Tabasco in there. You could heat it up with the sterno. That was good stuff. The ham and egg omelet was terrible. That was like a piece of Spam wrapped in like rehydrated eggs. Nobody wanted that one.
I think
awesome.
I think we have to go out and get a couple and have John try the lasagna and maybe some of the other ones. Try the saltine crackers that are in there.
Yeah. I'm not even kidding. Like, I was literally just going to say that. Let's get our hands on some MREs and let's sit down and eat them, and then we can taste test them. We could rate them. Al, that's on you. You get them, Al, and we'll do it.
Okay. We'll podcast that. We'll have we'll do like hot wings. All right, we're gonna try the crackers. Try the saltines in here.
Honestly, that's a great idea. Please get that. I'm not even kidding. Please get it.
Okay. I'm in.
You're on.
All right, guys. This was awesome. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it.
Right, appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Right.
Thanks for listening to Angles. If this episode made you think, smile, or see something in a new way, follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Leave a review and share it with friends. You can also follow us on social media. Angles is produced by Brett Tuttle. I'm John Richmond. See you next time.